As states begin to open up, even as COVID-19 continues to spread across the country, many industries are looking at getting immunity from any sort of lawsuits involving people who got sick or died on the job as a result of being exposed on the job. And they're drawing, of course, inspiration from nursing homes and hospitals, which have been, of course, hit pretty hard. Now, in New York, this is under a Democratic government, right? Andrew Cuomo, they were just granted immunity after giving massive donations to the campaign of Cuomo. So understand you've got some corruption going on here. I know, corruption in New York. Oh, I wouldn't imagine, right? Now, in fact, all over the country, hospital and nursing home companies are pushing for state laws that would shield liability immunity after giving massive donations to, of course, these governors and these people, these lawmakers, essentially, right? So now these laws would shield corporate executives, board members, and owners from civil litigation and government prosecution as a result of exposing employees and people under their care to COVID-19. According to David Sirota, who reviewed campaign finance data, it suggests that these industries are well positioned to be able to use that influence in their lobbying to lobby, of course, state politicians. Now, hospital and nursing homes have collectively put more than $98 million into state politics in the last election cycle, as well as the current one, according to data from the National Institute of Money and Politics. What has been the effect of this? Well, you've had 19 states that have already issued new executive orders or laws granting a form of liability protection to hospital and nursing home corporations. These companies spent a combined $44 million in lobbying. Among the states that have granted that immunity, the largest amounts of cash went to Massachusetts, that's $25 million, Illinois, $5.6 million, New York, $5.2 million, Arkansas, $1 million, and of course, Michigan, $1 million. Now, that's not all. The healthcare lobby is also pushing Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott to shield its executives from corporate liability, as litigation has already started there against the nursing home industry. Hospital and nursing home interests have also delivered more than $1.7 million to Texas candidates and political committees since 2017, so there's a lot of money. That includes more than $334,000 to Governor Abbott's campaign. So, of course, right? But Texas, not the only place. They're also pushing in California. They're trying to get California Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom to issue his own executive order, shielding healthcare industry executives from legal liability during the pandemic. Hospital and nursing home interests have delivered more than $21 million to California candidates and political committees since 2017. That includes more than $2.8 million to the California Democratic Party. So understand, it doesn't matter what party you belong to. Corruption is corruption. And these lobbyists are trying to buy off these politicians in order to get liability immunity. Now, speaking of Republican governors, you also have Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis that is considering immunity as well. The industry has given more than $3.2 million to Florida candidates and political committees in 2017. That includes more than $800,000 to the Florida Republican Party. That does not include additional money that groups put into state politics from national groups like the party's Governors Association. For instance, in the last two election cycles, the American Healthcare Association, which represents nursing homes, has given the Democratic Governors Association $200,000 and the Republican Governors Association a total of $150,000. In that same period, HCA, a giant hospital chain, has given the Democratic Governors Association $75,000 and Republicans $425,000. Not all of the money, of course, went to candidates or political parties or groups. Some of it did actually go to direct ballot measures, including those measures to limit corporate liability. Overall, these companies are funding an effort to shield themselves from any kind of liability if people again, in their care or on the job, get sick or die from coronavirus. And if they have that liability, what do you think is going to happen? I think they're going to be able to get away with cutting corners on safety measures, not supplying their employees with PPE, as well as, of course, poor working conditions. So here's the thing, right? Now, if you're a conservative, you're supposed to believe in, oh, that's okay. You know, if you're wronged at work, you should be able to get counsel and sue your employer, right? That's the way the market's supposed to correct itself, right? Well, in this case, both Republican and Democratic governors are saying, oh, no, we don't believe that at all. No, if you get sick from coronavirus from work, you shouldn't have any recourse. Sad day for you. Oh, also, we're not going to pay for your health care, right? So that's on you too, right? If you get coronavirus. We're not going to pay for the time that you, of course, have to self-quarantine to not get anybody else sick. No, we're just not going to deal with any of that. Sorry, you're on your own, buddy. Ha! Loser. Sucker. And, by the way, we got $435 billion richer. That's, of course, billionaires and corporations in the United States. And that's during this pandemic, by the way. Who's doing the looting, right? There's looting going on. And, I mean, it's pretty big. It's pretty substantial. A lot of money being stolen by these big companies. So why don't we focus on that? And what's worse is that, look, these are just hospital corporations and of course, nursing home companies, right? They're inspiring a broader effort to shield old corporations from this, including the meatpacking industry, which, of course, has been hammered by COVID-19 cases. And you have Mitch McConnell, by the way, who's currently leading an effort to make sure that old corporations are shielded from any sort of liability as they continue to push for people to go back to work as well. I mean, this is according to McConnell, a must-pass piece of legislation. If you want more coronavirus relief, especially for the states that are running out of money, well, then you have to make sure to have all these corporations have 100% immunity from anything COVID related. It's not a coincidence. Not a coincidence. So just understand, follow the money. If you want to understand what they're doing and why they're doing, you just have to do one thing. You just got to follow the money. That's it. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a patreon.com/TYTNation set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.